Jordan Henderson out in the Saudi Arabia Pro League. Henderson himself has been speaking because the Saudi Pro League kicks off this weekend at the same time as the English Premier League kicks off. His Liverpool are at Chelsea. I have no idea where Al Ettifaq are, but Jordan will know. Jordan's been speaking in the build-up to it. Now, of course, Gareth Southgate was in this very studio the other day, and he was talking about whether or not Henderson going to the Saudi Pro League would affect his selection by him for England. We'll get to that in a moment. But Henderson's opened up this week over his choice to go to Saudi and how it might or might not affect his England future.
Focused on playing for Ettifaq and playing my best, and if I'm doing that, then I'm sure there's no reason why I can't play for England, as the gaffer said. Obviously, we've spoke over the last few weeks about it, because playing for England means a lot to me, and I feel as though I can still bring a lot to the team, as I have in the last few games in the World Cup. So I still feel as though I can bring a lot, but at the same time I've got to do my job here and for Ettifaq, and if I do that, then hopefully I can make the team as normal. It's just a totally different project experience, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to come, try something completely different to what I've been used to for the last however many years. That's exciting times, you know. The project and something different is definitely a reason why I wanted to come here, and over the next few years I'm sure it will grow, and I want to be part of that to try and help it grow. And I love football, so I want to try to grow all over the world, and I know the people in Saudi love football, and hopefully we can keep continuing to grow the league and over the next few years, and hopefully I can be a big part of that.
That was Jordan Henderson. I love football, so I want to try and grow it all over the world. The project he goes on about, Danny, I like Jordan, but the bottom line is it's about the money.
The problem you've got, Jim, is that when you accept the finances and the wealth that they're offering you, you have to toe their line and spread their message. What choice has he got? What choice has he got? You can't come out and speak to the brutal truth, can you? Because they're paying you not to. They're paying you to spread the right message and to say the right thing. And if they were paying me that, I'd tell Jim, you pay me that, and I'll tell you whatever you want to come out of my mouth will come out of my mouth.
Well, I think what most people listening would want is that financially, of course, it's almost impossible to say no. But I want to play somewhere else. I'm going to play somewhere else, and I'm getting involved in something else. Maybe prefacing with that.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is you could add some honesty around it, and also choose your wording a bit differently. But very few people have the capability of articulating brutal honesty with a message you've been asked to portray within the same conversation. That would take high intellect and, you know, really, really good choice of wording to not offend.
Is he going to? We'll hear from Gareth in a second. Is he going to scratch his head in a bit? Albeit the finances are great and his bank balance will grow, but is he going to look around in a bit and think, what have I actually joined here?
It'll be tedious. It'll be hard work training with lesser players. It'll be hard work training in boiling heat. It'll be hard work getting yourself up for games that don't mean that much. And I can give you an example, which probably isn't fair, but it is something like, I went to play in the Championship my last season. It was hard work, Jim, because I'm not playing at the big stadiums against the best players. So I tried to keep myself going, but it was hard work. And I think a lot of players out there will find it very hard to self-motivate.
Yeah.
Because the competitive edge isn't there.
Yes.
The fans, the intensity, the cameras on you, the millions at home. Every time you play in the Premier League, you've got millions watching you.
Yeah.
That creates intensity in itself. It creates drive. It creates buzz. It creates excitement, nerves, energy, all those things. You're not got that there.
Has Gerrard got it there? Managing Henderson's club?
Well, it's the same principle. So you got to self-motivate. You got differences for a manager. You don't have that buzz, the same buzz as a player. But yeah, the same principles apply. How do you get? You know, it's so far away in the distance from people's minds that it doesn't really matter. You play well or don't. If you win or lose.
Yeah.
Don't really matter, Jim.
I mean, Henderson's going to look about and see 18 Saudis in the squad, 9 non-Saudis. One of them, Jack Henry, the Scot. But I mean, he's going to think in time, Well, apart from the
You'll
finance,
you'll play tricks on yourself and think, what am I doing?
I gave up Anfield for this.
Yeah, you will.
Maybe.
He will. Inevitable. You just got to get over it because you made a choice. But what I would say is, because of that lack of intensity, because of the lack of all those things that I just said, the level of play over there for now is going to be so far below the Premier League intensity and level and pressure.
Yeah.
You can't then expect to walk back into an England squad side and play in a high-level Euros against the best players in Europe and think you're going to be able to adapt like that.
You see, that's interesting, Danny, because the man who sat in that very chair last Friday, Gareth Southgate, I put that to him. I said, so Henderson's gone to Saudi. So in the process, has he given up playing for you?
I've spoken with Jordan this summer. The question he wanted to know was, if I move here, are you going to automatically rule me out? Well, we'd be stupid to do that. Why would we rule any player out just based on where they're playing? We've got to see how they're playing and at what level they're playing and how they are physically and everything else. So,
but people will say he's gone to a substandard league.
The fact is, we've got an idea of what that league might look like, but we don't actually know until we start to see the games. You know, if you'd said 3 months ago what would that look like, I'd have had a very different view to what it's looking like as more and more players are signed to go there. Big name players, not so many players right in the prime of their career, but not players that are past their sell-by date. So I think that whole project is fascinating for where it's going to head and what that might look like over the next couple of years. But it isn't the Premier League. We won't see him playing in Champions League football, which is the easiest assessment for us for the level he's playing at, and he knows the players that he's competing with, so that's the challenge for all of them.
Do you think that was fair from Gareth?
Well,
he touched all bases with that answer.
It's a substandard league, full stop. He can try. He's right in saying that it's got better over the last few months because a few more players have gone, but the level of intensity of those games is going to be nowhere near. The reason he's left the door open is because we aren't blessed with loads of brilliant midfielders, and Henderson is rather exceptional, unique midfielder in that his physicality has never dropped in all his career. If anyone can stay fit and at the level, it might be him, hence the fact he's left the door open. But generally, 95% of the time, you won't be thinking very seriously about picking anyone playing out there. Because to try and keep the level of intensity, to then be able to walk into a Euros and play against the best teams and players in Europe who've been playing Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, you're asking not far off a miracle.
Well, that's right. And he looks around, and the Saudis, of course, at international level beat Argentina when it all got going in Qatar.
In a one-off game, but
and that was a one-off game. So he looks around, and he's got a squad dominated by Saudis, and the non-Saudis. There's a lad from Chad, a lad from Congo. As a Swedish boy, there's a Turk in there as well. Scotland's Jack Henry.
Yeah, but
and he'll think, well, hang about. The real love of my life, Liverpool, are at Chelsea.
Well, yeah. If we're talking about Jordan in isolation, he's going to have those. Every player who goes out there is going to have moments where they're, what am I doing? And then you just phone up your bank manager and you feel all right again. But ultimately, Jordan's England situation. You could look at it a different way where you say, look, he's not going to be playing as many games, so he's going to keep his fit. He's not going to get injured. He's going to be fit and fresh because he's not playing 50 games a season. That's one argument.
Right.
So in an England squad where he's probably not going to start next summer, to have him coming off the bench for 20 minutes with his experience around the lads and, you know, his leadership qualities, that's why Gareth left it open. But in general, if we take it away from Henderson, if you're looking at building an international side that wants to win European, you know, the European Championships or the World Cup, you're not really going to be picking anyone playing in the Saudi in your first 11. Let's be honest.
Okay. All right.
Simple as that.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.